This video will look at adding a declarative action to a related list in Service Operations Workspace. And this applies for any configurable workspace. So first thing is there's an excellent article on the community on how to do this, talking about all kinds of declarative actions. So it's Ashley Snyder wrote this, and I'll put the link in the description. This is really my go-to for declarative actions. I'm on this page all the time. I have it on my speed dial. So what we're going to be going through today is, whoops, this section here, on the top of it, here, UXF Client Action is the type of action. So if we go into Service Operations Workspace, go into an incident, related records, and we go impacted services CIs, they have this add button, which pulls up this multi-record associator. So you can select a whole bunch of CIs and add them to your related list here. So this is what we're going for. We want to actually duplicate this functionality, but let's say we want to do it for a new table called affected users, that we want to have this affected users related list, and the ability to select multiple users and associate them with this incident. So I already created the table affected users, a many-to-many table, and I added this table to the related records or the related lists. So we can see it here, and just by doing that, they already give you in Workspace a new button. So you can, if you want to do it one by one, it will allow you to create a new record in this table. So I have this incident, and then I'll put Able Tutor in there as affected, and I save it. And now he shows up in here. So that already works. You can do them one at a time. But the idea here is, you want to be able to select, I don't know, multiple users, 5, 10, whatever, and be able to associate them with this record. So like I said, and Ashley mentions this in the article, the best way to do this is to look at something that's working already and just copy that. So let's go take a look in the back end at related list actions, and we'll type add. So there's a whole bunch of them, and this one is on the impacted CIs. I think it's this one. So this is a, you can see this is a UXF Client Action. Let's click here so we can get the click through. And it's using this Client Action Impacted Service MRA. MRA is a multi-record associator, I think. That's that pop-up box. It's this component. So that's the client action, and right, the button type is just how the button appears, and yeah, here's the view that it applies to, and then there's this. Okay, actually, there's no event mapping for this one. Not sure how that works, but okay. So let's go through. So basically, we're gonna copy this. So the first thing I do is I copy the client action, because if you're creating a new action assignment, you have to specify a client action, and I like to put the right client action on there right away instead of putting something as a placeholder and then creating another one. So I go into this action payload definition, and I'm going to insert and stay it. And now I have to change the key to something like, so I'm going to say add affected users incident MRA. Okay, give it a label. Now in the payload, so this is the important part. Label, this is what appears when you click on the button and the modal comes up. This is what comes up here. This is the label. So we're going to call this add affected users. The userGivenTable is the table that you want to pull from. So where these values are coming from. So here, this is coming from the CMDB CI table, and we want to pull from the sysuser table. These we leave alone. Table, parent record sysid. So these are filled in when we do the event, and I'm not exactly sure what these correspond to, but I just leave them alone. Parent field name. Okay, so this is what the table that we're going to add records to, which is the, here, let me back up. So if I go into an incident here, or actually here, we can even, well, yeah, I think I can do it in here. If I go into affected users and I go into, I say new here, so it wants to know about, let's see if we had another user. Okay, so it wants to know about this, the parent. So, because the parent is the incident. So in this many-to-many table, the parent is going to be incident. And so I send util so I can find the name here. It's u_incident. So parent field name is u_incident. And then the referenced field name. So this is the what the sysuser is in that many-to-many table. So we're back to here, and the sysuser, affected user, is the label, and it's called, and the actual field name is sys_user. Okay, and the rest of these, right, the type is many-to-many. So I guess I'll just mention this. If you're doing this on a one-to-many, or I'm sorry, on a one-to-many table, so not a many-to-many, but say you have, I don't know, say there was only one user affected, and you were writing directly to the user table to a field called incident. You would change this to O to M, right? And you would also change the reference field name to sysid. And the parent field name would be whatever that field is called on your incident table. So it would probably be not on your incident table, on your user table, because you're going to be writing to the user table. So that would probably be called uIncident as well, because it's going to be an incident field on the user table. This is if the, you'd only associate a user with one incident. You'd never want to do that, but you'd have other cases where you don't have many-to-many, you have one-to-many. So that's how you would set that up. Okay, and the rest of these, I just leave them as is. There is this extension point, which I think you can set up filters in here. So when you pull up the, go back here, when you pull this up, say you only wanted active users, or in this case, I don't know, CIs that are in a certain location or whatever. I think you can use this extension point field extension point to do some filtering in there, but I'm not 100% sure how that works, so I just leave it as default all caps. Okay, good. So we're set up here. We got our key, we got our label, so we're going to save that. Okay, now when I save it, it does a bunch of stuff down here. It creates this payload mapping, and you can see it makes the map here with all of our JSON payload. They're spelled out in a sort of encoded query kind of map. Also adds these action payload fields. So this is all done auto-magically. There must be a business rule or something that does that. And whenever you save it, and if you make changes up here and you save it, it will update your changes down here. Okay, so we have our action payload definition. So now let's go back to our related list actions, and we're going to create a new one. Okay, we're going to call this add affected users. That will be what shows up on the button. And the action name, this has to be unique. I think they just put this in. I'll have to look at another one to see how that is. But here, let's let's go over to here and let's get our model up on the screen here. And we said we wanted to copy impacted CIs. Right, yeah, so the action name is just lowercase with, is like a snake case. So we want to implement this as UXF Client Action. And then specify client action. So now we're going to go find the payload definition that we just created. So add affected users to incident. Button type, we can just leave that as primary. The table, so this is the table that, this is the many-to-many table. So, right, have to find the name of that. It's not here. Okay, I just grab it out of the URL in the workspace. Yeah, there we go. Incident affected user. I guess I could have also looked it up by label. That probably would have been the more intuitive way to do it. The view, I think we can leave this blank, and it will apply. Let's leave it blank and see what happens. See if we can see it or not. Okay, so we have that. Experience restricted. This is interesting because these components actually work in the classic or the core UI as well. So if you don't want that to be visible in the core UI, you know, if you're in an incident in here, anyway, we'll go to that afterwards. If you don't want that to be visible in there, you can check this, and this will keep it only in visible only in Workspace. So you can put a tooltip and a description, and we will save this. Okay, so now we should see our button here. Oh, yeah, we already saw it. Okay, add affected users. But clicking it does nothing, and Ashley outlines this well in the article. So the next step is we have to link this button with to an event. It has to go back and tell the page, hey, what do I do with this? Go open a modal. So that we go back to the action assignment. We go to UX add-on event mappings. So we're going to do new. Okay, event mapping name. This can be anything, just has to be identifiable. So we're going to call this add affected users incident MRA. Okay, the source element ID. So Ashley puts this in the article here. and I always just go here and copy it right here. Record page tabs _1. Okay, so this is the component that that this is coming from, I think. So here, let's shift over to the UI builder because we have to go in here anyway. So we'll go look at this page in UI Builder, and we can kind of see where what it's talking about. So I'm in Service Operations Workspace, and I want to go to the record page, record SNC. So in this record page, there is a component, record page tabs. I think it's this one, yeah. Record page tabs. And here's the ID of that component, record _page _tabs _1. So that is what this is, where this is coming from, right? Because when we're in here, this is record page tabs. So we're in that component. Okay. So source declarative action, it already fills that in for us. This is the declarative action, the action assignment that we've been working on, add affected users. The page macro macroponent. So this is the parent macroponent. So this is the page we're working on. So the tough thing here is it is called the record page, but there's a lot of them that are called record. Is what about 7 or 8 of them. So we got to figure out which one is that. So the way to do that, and again, all of this is outlined in the article. I'm just putting the article in a video, basically. So what we do is we go back to the UI builder. We're on this page, and we go to menu, developer, open page definition, which will open it up in the back end. And so here we just copy the sysid. So then we can go back to here, parent macroponent, and do a search, and sysid is this. Okay, so that's actually not called record, it's called record SOW. That's that, and then the target event that we want is open modal, because it's a modal that opens and displays that that MRA component. Okay, and then the last piece is the target payload mapping. So Ashley gives us that as well, or you can take it from an existing record. So I am mostly, not mostly, I am blindly copying this in here, but if you look at it, you can kind of get an idea of what it's doing, even if I don't really know. I tried to find the actual definition for this component on the developer site, but it's not listed as far as I can tell in there. So the only way to kind of see that is you can see here that the inputs are the same as the JSON payload back on the action payload that we created in the first step. So you have userGivenTable, the table, referenced field name, etc. All those are just in here, and they're just bound to different things. Okay, but like I said, I am just monkey see, monkey do, just copying in here. Okay, so this is okay. So now we can submit this. Okay, and for some reason, yeah, it brings us back to this. I don't know, that happened to me a few times. So we want to go back to our action assignment. And now we can see that we have an add affected users MRA down here, event. Okay, so now theoretically everything should be fine, but this is where I got caught up. So let's see, got too many windows open. Okay, we're back here. So if I do a refresh, and I click this, I get no dice here. I'm still getting nothing. So I found that what you have to do is clear the cache, clear the server cache. So we do a cache.do. Okay, and then go back here. Do a refresh. Usually I don't have to clear the browser cache, but sometimes I've, not for this, but in other things with Workspace, sometimes clearing the browser cache is also necessary. Okay, affected user, so we click on that and boom, so now we have our modal pops up with our users. Okay, and we can select multiple users and add them, and they end up in our affected user related records. So that's it. That's creating a related list declarative action using a multi-record associator in Configurable Workspace. That's a mouthful.